my GC co-creators. Lilou here on the GC Living Tour today in Kauai with Sadaya. Hi.
Hi, how are you today?
Very, very good. And I am super thrilled to be sitting next to you because I must say that this lady was a major sponsor last time I was on Kauai and lended me a car for the whole trip, and just generously you said, you know, come on, get the Jeep. I have a few cars here for you, and this is my contribution to the tour, and that I really want to thank you publicly because I felt the generosity of the island. I felt the spirit. You had yourself such an amazing, and I got to know that later, but such an amazing journey. And the main topic here that I want to look at is the fact that you have raised all these kids by yourself, and there's a lot of single mothers out there, and I would love to talk about that because I know you have a lot of maybe tips and bringing a little bit of spirituality into the whole picture. So where do we start this conversation?
Thinking about that. Where would you start with single parenting?
So tell us about your story, just maybe briefly. Did it just happen to you?
Well, I mean, single parenting. I mean, pregnancy happens and single parenting happens. It's almost an involvement of the imprints that happen in early life. Yes, I mean, you see two parents and you think this is what it's going to be, and sometimes it is and sometimes it's not. And so the elegance of the way the universe shows up is that whatever it is, you actually have the tools for that, even though sometimes you're looking around to grab anybody who will jump on your boat and help you with this. You really do have the tools for that. And there also is support. So the problem is not so much the practical support, because there's solutions and there's practical support and everybody has advice and practical support. But the idea is, you know, to really get the solidness that you have inside of you, because that, in my experience, is what your child is craving, you know, craving that love, craving that solidity, craving that presence from you. And when they have that, then there's a flow that now lends itself to support and practical solutions that is a lot easier than trying to put out a fire in the middle of a fire. Yeah. You know.
And I bet you had just had, and I bet it's very, very challenging to be a single mother, bringing in some revenue, supporting the kids, and having all these kids running around. And I love how you dived into your spiritual practices within that, and that was necessary for you, and the Oshos, and tell us about that dive that you did. Because you were going to lose your sanity.
I was. I mean, you know, maybe I'm crazy now. I mean, what is sanity, really? Right.
Good point.
What is sanity? And so, I mean, it was very easy in the teens and the 20s before I had children to read about truth and to spout truth and to discuss truth in all these different flavors, and that's all well and good. But in the heat of the moment with small children, when your triggers and your strong emotions are coming up, what do? Do you get out a book and read what the solution is at that time? No. Is the facilitator there in the room with you, in the kitchen with you? No. So there was this journey that happened actually later than I would maybe have chosen, kind of in the mid-30s, that I began to, fortunately for me, meet the right people and jump into a very experiential movement of study. And I would
tell us more. We're getting there.
So what I would say to my children is, goodbye, I'm going to become a better mother. I'm going off to this class to learn these things. And they would say, bye, see you later, have fun, you know. And so my impetus in going outside the home was to be able to bring back more solidity, more sanity, more clarity, you know, and to be juicy with my children, but in a very solid way so that they felt supported. And I mean, you might have to talk to them as to what their experiences are. From my experience, I love that diving in. I love that richness. I love that intensity. That is sort of my personality anyway. And I was a single parent, but that's almost a misnomer because there's always support around. It just doesn't look like you think it's going to look. Or maybe you think that you want it to look a certain way. And that was one of the key concepts that I first encountered and embraced was, as you say, many, many traditions. And so Osho, Gurdjieff, Course in Miracles, satsang, Ramana Maharshi, I mean, you name it, on and on and on, and esoteric, paths as well. But this idea is that things don't fit in the frame of view that you expect. So you look for this particular frame, and in looking for this frame, you miss the gift. You miss what is available to you. So yes, hold dear to you qualities that you want to embody, qualities that you would like to show up, and be open, be present, be aware of what, and use your wisdom. Choose, not this, not that. One of my teachers once said to me, anything but yes is no. That's an important thing for a single parent. In dating, as a single adult, looking at potential partners when you have children, anything but yes is no, right? No, in relationship. And with children, right? Anything but yes is no. So if there's not agreement, what's going on the other side is, I'm not feeling you, Mom. Something that's inside you is not what you're presenting to me. So there's not connection happening. So it's this this desire to create deep and loving connection that my children really have taught me. It's really about connecting to love in the experience of everything, not like meditating with your eyes closed, but making eggs or scooping them up off the floor. There is love and truth in that moment. There can be deep connection. So it's finding it in every practical thing. And for each person, where they start their path is different, as is meditation. For me, I could not sit still, and nor could I even if I wanted to with the children. So active meditation, be totally into what you're doing. Be completely present in what you're doing. And don't beat yourself up if you're not. Be where you are.
But I love what you said, or where it starts from, is really stopping the victim. Like, I'm a single mom and poor me, and it really comes to a point, it seems like, where you have to I'm not alone, actually. It starts with that, knowing that they are beautiful co-creators, and we're always co-creating anyway with the universe. So there is support, and then we can really start diving in this richness of life. And it's valid for, I think, everybody, whatever the background is or the topic is.
Yes. And almost in that, there's this idea as a single mother or a single father.
Yeah.
And so I'm a woman, but I was efforting to provide both those things, right? The masculine and the feminine. So getting too busy in the masculine, maybe I missed support that was available to me. I'm sure that I did, in thinking that I had to do it all myself. So I am having the opportunity to gracefully learn that now, because I don't have all those small people around me to provide for, just myself. Not that the children are not still around, and not that we don't still connect, but it's a very different thing. So as you're saying, it's really, really important. First things first.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you go through this phase also, from what I hear from some friend of mine, they're a single mom, where you're so busy between the job, between the kids, that you lose yourself and you lose your femininity, and you just let yourself kind of go. And this is, but it seems like for everything, I guess, it has to start with love from within. You have to give yourself that love, because the children pick on everything. So it starts with us, huh?
Well, it does. And the thing of it is I can only speak for my type of personality and my experience. So for me, I let things go, like the house, right? And I let things go, like becoming a doctor, lawyer, Indian chief. I took a job that eventually I had to leave because it was just too dead boring. But it provided time, and it provided resources, and it provided benefits. And so that made my life simple and easier to go out and not only be with my children, have downtime, but also connect with people that I found to be tribe spiritually. So whatever path you choose, really, this is the other thing you and I talked about, was authenticity.
Yeah.
Choose something that really resonates deeply with what rings true. Mm-hmm. And choose people, maybe just one or two, that you know that you can really connect to, that you can really let your hair down. It's not, the spiritual words, it's the connection. Mm-hmm. There may be no words that have to do with tradition whatsoever. It may just be real simple, like with kids, What's wrong, Mom? Oh, I'm fine. No, you're not. Maybe you're not. Mm-hmm. I'm feeling grumpy. I'm feeling sad. As long as you are expressing, then you don't create a situation where the child needs to do the dance for you. Mm-hmm. If you're doing your own dance, then your child has a lot more freedom to do their dance. Mm-hmm. If you are all held, then often your child is doing the dance, for mm-hmm. you, expressing your anger by poking you at a time when you feel like you're going to explode. So how can you nurture and teach nurturing? Right?
Yeah. Well, how do you deal with the fear, with the anger, with the all the things that you think should be healed? How do you deal with all of that when you have a whole bunch running around and you don't have much time?
That's interesting, because as you're asking me that, the last 25 years, how did I deal with it? Humor is great. Uh-huh. Humor. Can we cry or can we laugh about this? Mm-hmm. We can cry, that's okay. Mm-hmm. But laughter too. Allow yourself to feel. So I think feeling is a big key. And a couple of friends, that's key.
Punching ball on the side?
Yeah, punching ball on the side. Have a physical activity. Yeah. Another one of my great mentors used to say, go and buy a stack of plates at the Salvation Army. Get in the back of the garage when everyone's gone to bed and throw the plates at the garage. Break the plates. Yeah. Jump up and down in the shower. Give yourself 10 minutes of whatever it is that you need for a while. Eventually, yes, take ownership, let go, but maybe there is something in between A and Z that expression lends itself creatively to. That's really positive. Give your children a chance to do that. We used to do talking stick, my sister and I, with all the kids, and there was at that time 7 children in the home between 5 and 12. So we passed the talking stick, and when they were angry at one another, they had to hold one hand and they had to cover their mouth with the other hand, and then they could say whatever they wanted through their mouth. They could yell, even if it was not a good word. They could, and this was a symbol of taking responsibility. And they would be over it in 15 seconds. They wouldn't even get the first word out and they would bust up laughing. And we were like, hey, you guys have to finish your process. Their process was complete. Mm-hmm. It was instantaneously complete. They just needed support and presence. They didn't need all the stuff we thought they needed. Mm-hmm. Those kids are so amazing. I mean, that's living with my sister for 2 years to see
taking on her kids.
Yes, and she took on mine. It was definitely, and so there was some deep lessons in that. You grow up with someone, and then later, 15, 20 years later, you co-parent with that person, and then you find that person turns into your ex-spouse. Well, then you know that this is your projection. You know that this is your drama, that this got nothing to do with the person. So it was a very unique opportunity to be going and working on myself in community, having this experience of community in the home and presence in the home. And also, she and I both did very different things as far as how we raised our children the first 5 or 10 years. So then when we came together to see that it's all perfect. I mean, I see her children now, she sees mine, they're all beautiful, they're all well-developed, they're all well-rounded, and yet the methods we chose were almost opposite. She made everything from scratch. I did what I could. I worked more outside the home, she worked more inside the home, so we brought different things to the table, but these children, made lemonade out of lemons every time, right? They had whatever they needed, They really did. It feels good to know that.
Yeah.
And to be able to see that now.
And you have kids, they're pretty much sprinkled all over the world. You have one in Peru right now, traveling with Elijah, that many people have seen. That's a great interview with an amazing soul. And and so she's traveling with him and Michael, right?
Yes. Darren.
Another continent.
Yes. She's singing sometimes with them, and she's there on a spiritual journey, and she's there in friendship and all that love that's there that they're doing in Peru. So it's a wonderful experience for her at 22.
Another one is an actress, and you have...
Yes, I have an actress. She lives in Chicago. But she's a very, tomboy, no makeup, very real girl, not pretentious, Why do you want to become an actress when she's 11? And she says, I don't know. It was fun. It's a fun thing to do. When it's not fun, I'm not going to do it. So just a real girl. Yeah.
So, and I know you're all about the fun. I know you're all about the bubbliness and enjoying the moment, and you handle a lot. I mean, right now I see all this car fleet outside, and you're growing your business, and you want to create shuttles in Kauai. I mean, everything needs to be created on this island, and you're like this super warrior of light. I mean, you could feel it, probably, her energy, but it's beyond words when you meet her. So what's going on with this? What are your projects now? Because I feel it's unlimited with you.
It's almost, it's funny. It's motherhood again. I was thinking about this, in this little bit of time that we had from when we were talking about preparing to speak. And I have my oldest daughter living with me now. She is a hairdresser and makeup artist. And so I still have this aspect of parenting, which is lovely because she's so mature, and there's a real lovely full circle camaraderie in that. And that is a project for both of us. And then there is this transportation project, because I went back in my mid to late 40s and got a degree in leadership studies in public safety. And so I never thought I would use it, but here I am using it in many ways. And what I'm finding at this stage in life is being a mom, being a single mom, having those successes, and now bringing those successes to whatever is in the flow to serve the community. So if it's transportation, because this community desperately needs community-based, sustainable, responsible transportation, I'm a part of that. And yet people are coming now with funding and creating my dreams, right before my eyes. And that's great. I don't have an attachment to have my name on it. Just the idea and seeing it manifest is beautiful. And I've been asked to do a circle. So we're beginning a circle, and I'm working in concert with some other people who often have different talents. But it's great when you collaborate, just like you do with your children, to bring those joint talents together. And often opposites bring the best packages, So
what do you call circles, so that we're all on the same page?
Well, these circles are going to be unique. What we're going to do right now is we're going to have a women's group. It will be based on support and authenticity and truth, okay? And at the same time, one of the women that I work with, she is a Chinese medicine doctor, and she does acupuncture. So we're going to also bring some elements of body work to this, because often much is held within the body. So there will be an aspect of body work, and there will be an aspect of transpersonal work, which is my background, transpersonal therapy. And also we have a dear friend who does wonderful work with men and people coming on island. So I'd love to see some men's circles, which of course I will not teach, because I really believe that they are best taught by men, but I would love to support that. I would love to support that and create collaboration for that to happen, and couples work as well.
So circles are micro community within the community, is that what it is?
Yes, a circle would be, it could be a social type meeting. It could happen as a more growth-oriented meeting periodically, whether that be weekly, bi-monthly, monthly. I think there should be levels. I think there should be social events where there is no exchange whatsoever. You show up, you don't even bring food. There's maybe food there, but you just come. You just come and you relax. And this is nice for the family. This is nice for people. And this is nice for everyone to do. It's like you have a party and you don't require anyone to bring anything. And you give. You give at this party, and you bring people who have gifts to give, and they give the people that come, right? And then there are more intimate bodies of work that go over longer periods of time that have maybe specific themes or lessons that are supportive. But the jewels come from within. The truth comes from within. So there's themes that are taught from teachers or from experiences from people like myself. But the real jewels of truth come from one's own connection with spirit, one's own connection with divinity. It's about empowering the other, you know. It's really about empowering the other. So bringing that to community and bringing a regularity, bringing a body of men's work here. There's some lovely teachers that want to bring men's work through Leadership Kauai, and also here with couples. There's a married couple that's been married for 30 years, which did not happen to me. So I would love to support them doing couples work, and we will do some fun stuff in that. Bring different avenues of teaching to that.
I love how you're just in the flow with creation and all that is. When there is an idea that juices you up, you seem to jump on it and go for it and enjoy the ride and see how it opens up. And if not. And if it is, then you fully dive in.
Yes. And I think the exciting part of that also lends itself to the experience I've had from parenting. The idea of going with the successes. You know, there was a funny story that I did with my kids, and that was, we made some goals when they were going into puberty. We said, okay, if you can make it to 21 with no alcohol, no drugs, no smoking, no sex, right? Then mom's going to give you a certain thing when you reach 21. And they all thought this was just, it was a chunk of money, right? And I didn't know where I was going to get this money, but I was going to find it. And because it meant something to them. To me, it was not the money per se, but it was something that they looked forward to because that was a goal for freedom. So they all started out at that goal, and about 16 or 17, they would come back and say, you know, but drinking's legal at 19 here. And I say, well, let's talk about that then, you know. Well, you know, what if I want to get married and I'm not 21? Well, let's talk about that then. So we didn't actually make the goal with any of the girls, which... Not that I haven't, of course, supported a lot of their endeavors in different ways, and sometimes with cash, but I felt like it was a worthy project, and I felt like it was an ethical project. Some people feel that to offer a gift at, you know, the end of a long-term thing may not be ethical, but for me, it made sense because it was so important to these girls to be independent and to have something to play with, and to them, what they were giving up at 12 didn't seem important until it did at 16 or 17. So it brought them into a time of maturity where then we could talk about sex, we could talk about drugs, we could talk about alcohol, we could talk about smoking, but we weren't talking about it at 13. You know, we were talking about it at 15, 16, 17. And there was a lot of laughter when we did talk about it. You know, and so inventing things, and yes, creative flow in projects. It's like riding the wave of what works, riding the wave. And so I'm open.
Everything is changeable.
Everything is changeable. And it's really also about collaboration. So being soft in that, you know. I mean, there was a time when I made a big chunk of funds, and then that chunk of funds, because of some other stories, went sideways. So it was like, oh, I thought I was going to have this chunk of funds. I thought I was going to sit on it and do all this stuff from that space. Well, I'm doing that stuff. There's no chunk of funds, and I'm still doing it. So it's not about what we think it's about. It's not about it. Whatever we, you know, really, really feel passionately love for and support for can be created.
Period. Awesome. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
It's warm. You could tell. Woo! It's juicy, fun, warm, Kauai. I know it's winter in the other side of the globe, but here it's still summer, and it's summer all year long, and it's beautiful paradise. Thank you for in the name of, you know, the whole Hawaiian Islands, thank you for being so warm-hearted and bringing the aloha.
Oh, well, mahalo nui loa to you as well. You know, I read your short talk when you were just coming to the island. And I read all of the things that come through, and I just saw it and I went, I love what this woman's doing. I love it. It's exciting. It's inspiring. And I want to support it. And I got out the phone right then and I called and I left a message for you.
Yeah.
You know, you're coming. You know, I want to be there for you. I want to support you. You know, I want to connect with you. I want to.
Thank you.
Yeah, be juicy with you.
Yes, and spontaneous. Let's be more spontaneous. Let's do some random act of kindness like this all around. I love what some people do, like buy the next Starbucks, you know, or buy and just like surprise other people, and it's just amazing. Their reaction is, it's like, what? This is possible? Yes.
Yeah. Well, look at that. We're looking out on this beautiful farmland, and there's a truck full of stuff that someone cut down for me, and tomorrow I'm going to gift it to a friend of mine who's a single mom for a couple of days because she's moving. And this is really what it's all about.
Feels great.
It does. Feels awesome.
It's juice up a life.
Absolutely.
We send you much aloha from beautiful Kauai.
Yes, aloha.